everybody. It's Craig from Doc Sports. We're back with Doc's Daily, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every day. It's Thursday, April. Almost said March. How about that? April 24th. We are less than 1 week to the Kentucky. Well, no, a little more than 1 week to the Kentucky Derby. I got a little excited. We got the Derby betting guide that we've been working on, so it's starting to get me excited about the Kentucky Derby. But until we get there, hey, we got plenty of sports. We got the NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. It's another exciting night in NHL playoffs, by the way. And, of course, we got baseball and you know, UFC and other things as well. But that's what we're going to be talking today, the four major sports. So if you haven't done so, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Also, housekeeping, make sure if you want to get in our absolute top plays, I know we have an 8-unit game of the year. Who was at it tonight, Robert? I saw
August Young.
NBA.
In the NBA.
Yeah, 8-unit NBA game of the year. So go docsports.com/free60. If you're a new customer, you can use that $30 to get in on his NBA plays tonight. Or, of course, you're an existing user, just go to the grid and get in on it. Several other big plays out tonight. Griffin, did you have a big play tonight? Did I see you on the board?
I do not have any top plays tonight, Craig. No, sir. All small volume today. I've got 3 plays in MLB. I swept yesterday. I went 1-1 in NBA yesterday. I sniper shotted 1 play out today, and then I'm on the ice as well tonight with a 4-unit best bet. And then props and soccer as well tonight, Craig. Full card across all slates, but low volume today for sure. Keeping it a little bit lower. We got a nice win yesterday. Want to win again today. Then we'll start looking to pop the cork again. But right now, we're staying simmered down. Still hung over from that 8-unit loss, Craig.
hey, also it takes one good day to get 8 units back because, you know, a 3-unit plays is actually gets that 8-unit back. Robert, welcome back. We got, if you guys didn't know, we probably didn't announce it. He was across the pond. Maybe he'll talk in an accent all day today, like when he gives out his picks. You have anything big tonight?
I have a 7-unit play in the NHL. So
on the ice, nice.
I know. I'm having one of my better seasons. I really don't know how, but I'm also not going to argue with it. I think I'm on like a plus 8,000 run in the NHL, which is not normally my bag. Honestly, it's not my best sport. But I'm having a great season, and somehow if I win, this will be 3 straight winning years. So I'm not going to argue with it. Just keep doing what I'm doing, I guess.
Sometimes you don't, like, you know, less is more sometimes. And sometimes, you know, like you just as what they say in baseball, you just see the ball well. You just see that you're just seeing the board well for a period of time. And it can be in one sport, it can be in all sports. So go over there. That's 7-unit NHL. I think that's the top play as far as the NHL. I don't think we have any 8-unit.
Strike Point Sports is like, they have a 7-unit play in the NHL too. I think they're 15-1 in their last 16 NHL plays. It's either 14-1 or 15-1. It's something stupid like that. Like they've won 6 or 7 straight plays. I don't know. They have a 7-unit play as well. But I don't think there was any 8 units in the NHL or anywhere else. No.
August was the only.
There's a couple 7-bingers today.
Yeah, and then Nick, what do you have tonight?
Yeah, the streak came to an end last night in the NBA. I had the over in that Golden State and Houston Rockets over 204.5 points. The total finished at 203. We missed it by a bucket. So we're 9-1 in my last 10 selections. Still heating up, still staying hot. We're going to bounce back. I have a 4-unit in the NBA side of things at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then also we got a 3-pack in the NHL tonight. Looking to have a big night on the ice, Craig.
I had a 7-unit play in that NBA game also. I was on the same side as you with the over. You know, there's only 5 points scored in the last 2 minutes and 32 seconds.
Brutal.
5 points.
Brutal.
We only needed 7. There were 5 points scored in the last 2.5 minutes of that goddamn game.
And remember,
over by 1 basket. That is as bad of an NBA total beat as you are ever going to see in your life, Nick. So just be happy that you were on the right side. It just didn't go our way.
And Jimmy Butler going down too.
That's the big asterisk. If he plays more than 8 minutes, like that game goes way over.
2.5 minutes.
The Warriors need a second option.
2.5 minutes. How is it possible? I've seen NBA games where they've scored like 16 points in the last minute. They scored 5 points in the last 2.5 minutes. Not that I'm still pissed off about it or anything. Like, I'm processing it really well. I'm doing really well emotionally with this. But
I don't see that out.
I'm losing it, Robert. I'm losing it over here.
I don't see any notes about Jimmy Butler either. I haven't seen any, like, if he's going to be good to go after that for the game 3 or what. So you got be careful what you wager until you see what Jimmy Butler's going to do in the Warriors Rockets series. But the Rockets got back even last night, and I think we're gonna have a series in that one. So it might be one of the few series. But we'll talk NBA here in a second. I do have a 7-unit play on NBA tonight in the Nuggets Clippers game. Or no, 6-unit play. Sorry, 6-unit play. And really low on all the other sports. I didn't love baseball today. I have one little play, and I didn't like the NHL at all. I want to get Nick's opinion on that, but let's start in baseball because there are some early games, bunch of early games actually today. Robert, why don't you kick us off in baseball with the free play here? What do you like here?
I'm going to take the Rangers tonight against the A's. I think we're getting really good value on Jacob deGrom. Just like what with the Mets, he's not getting a ton of run support, but watching him throw the ball looks pretty good. Looks pretty sharp. So minus 140 was minus 150, and it's actually dropping. The A's are one of those teams that I still think that they're playing over their heads a little bit. They're not as bad as they were last year. They're not in that Rockies, White Sox, nether region of baseball, but they're also not a 500 team, and they're kind of playing 500 ball. I think this is a perfect example of, we see this all the time, right? Like teams that end up losing 95 games may have a winning April. Or maybe, 500 the second week of May, and then reality sets in. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting with the A's. The Rangers haven't hit the ball, but they still have some hitters. It's just a matter of time. So I see Jacob deGrom at minus 140. I see a bad team across from them. I think there's a lot of value there. I was going to make it a rated play, but baseball has been really choppy for me the last 2 weeks. I think I had like 5 straight winning days, then like 4 straight losing days or something like that. So I just taken a day off, but this was the play that was going to be the one on my card. So I'll take deGrom at minus 140.
Imagine the days. What was it? A decade ago, let's just say deGrom was minus 250 every time.
Right.
Didn't matter who he was playing. Now he's not that guy anymore. I think he can be in spots. I mean, we saw what's his name last year? What's the left?
Verlander, Scherzer
last year at times could go back and look like that dominant. Now he wasn't that every day, and deGrom's not going to be that every day. But I do think the athletics, which is crazy that they don't use their Sacramento, that they'd rather go by athletics on all the sports books. They're a 500 team or right there at it. So they're being bet way more than a 500 team in this instance. If you look at this, I thought it should have been minus 160.
Right.
Texas.
Right. I thought it was going to be minus 175, minus 180, where because the Rangers don't hit, I don't trust them to play the run line, and I'm not going to lay that type of juice. So it's a no play. So when I saw 150 last night, that was intriguing. And like I said, now it's down to minus 140. And about deGrom, like his average fastball is still around 97 miles an hour. Okay. And he can dial it up a little bit, to your point, when he needs to. So he's not the guy he was 5 or 6 years ago, but he's still pretty damn good. Yeah. Right. And it's not like he's in that 91, 92 range where now he's just got to be crafty and rely on his stuff. So I think he's going to shut them down today. I can see it being like a 3-1 Rangers win.
Hey, so the under as well. He said parlay. No, you didn't. Same game parlay. Robert said, I heard it. All right, Nick, what do you like? Here's a free play in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, let's look at the Tampa Bay Rays and the Arizona Diamondbacks here. The Arizona Diamondbacks are slight favorites, minus 135 here on that money line. That total's sitting at 8.5. The Tampa Bay Rays, they came back and they won in extra innings. They're 7-6, and now will face Corbin Burnes. And for the Arizona Diamondbacks, Corbin Burnes hasn't lived up to the expectations, let's say, as last year. He is 0-1, 21 innings of work. His ERA is at a 4.64. In his 4 games he has started, he has given up a home run in 3 out of those 4 games here. You got Rasmussen back on the mound for the Tampa Bay Rays, and he's been phenomenal with an ERA sitting under 1. I believe it's a 0.87 there. I think the bats stay hot here for the Tampa Bay Rays. You're in the desert. Corbin's still trying to get his mix with this Diamondbacks rotation here. I think he continues to struggle. I think the Tampa Bay Rays squeak 1 to 2 runs against Corbin Burnes here and take this game tonight. I like the dog price in the Tampa Bay Rays over the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight, Craig.
Yeah, I mean, I would not have if you said there's an over-under, Burns is going to have a 4+ ERA at this point of the year. I'd be like, no way. But he just, but it can happen early, though, for pitchers. Because remember, you have 2 bad crooked outings, and you don't have enough innings to pull it down. So he's going to turn it around. He's too good a pitcher not to. But I don't think this is a crazy price. I like that play. Griffin, what do you like here today?
Yeah, Craig, I've got a juiced line definitely for sure, but it's a kind of a must-win situation. We got the Angels looking to avoid a 3-game sweep here against Pittsburgh. Los Angeles, they got Tyler Anderson on the bump. This guy's been he's been very inconsistent in his career, but right now, starting this season, he's been absolutely stout. He's 2-0 on the year, 21.2 innings of work. He's got a dominant 2.08 ERA. Los Angeles last year, and this is something that I get so much value in, and I continuously use this. The Angels last year, during night games opposed to day games, they went 44-69 during night games opposed to 19-30 during day games. They lighted up only under the lights and especially at home. So when the Angels are at home during night games and they're playing somebody soft, like the Pirates tonight, that is where you execute them. I would have had them this as a premium play. -150 was juicy for me. I almost made it a 2-unit. I laid off. I like my other 3 plays inside of my premium selection card, but I'm on the Angels in this one, Craig. I think they dodge the sweep tonight. I think Anderson comes out stout, and I like this offense with the Angels as of late. Other than these last 2 games.
like at this point of the year, you got to find your spots where you can get some value with underdogs. Like this is just, I think we talked about
Tony my George. Premiums are underdogs. That's why I can't give one out right now.
Well, like we talked about Tony George the other day. It's like, if you only pay favorites, you're going to have to win 70% of baseball games. So I don't care who you are. You're not winning 70% of baseball games as an expert, as a novice, as square, it doesn't matter. So you got to bet some underdogs in there so that, hey, you only got to win 58, 59% if you're playing some underdogs sprinkled in along the way. I like a little favorite, though, saying that tonight. But instead of playing them as a favorite, the Giants are -150. I'm going to lay the run line here with the Giants. The Giants, heck, the East or the West of the National League, this is the records of the National League. And I knew it was going to be a good 17-8 are the Padres, 16-9 the Giants, 16-9 the Dodgers, 14-10 the Dodgers. Now, of course, the Rockies are 4-18, but I mean, the West has been so good. I think it continues tonight. I just don't believe in this Brewers team. We talked about it. The players they have lost. We talked about it, I think, probably a week ago. They lost a lot. This isn't a franchise that's going to go out and spend to replace them. And I think we're seeing that the Brewers are going to struggle. I like a run line here tonight, so you get them at plus money. And that's the way I like to play. Instead of just playing some, you play a favorite -150, they might win. Like I said, you're not going to win long-term doing that. But if you play some -1.5 on teams that you like as favorites, now you get them in that plus money. Like +110, +105, I see it right now. So let's lay the run line in this one. All right, so let's go to the NBA because I want to give plenty of time to the NBA because – last night we saw it was mixed. I think, I think the Celtics not covering really helped the books last night because a lot of people were like, hey, the Celtics are going to win and blow them out. That didn't happen. So I do think the books at least survived last night, but we've seen lots of favorites but it's been lots of unders. That's been the one key. Is there an NBA play here you like tonight, Robert?
I'm taking the Pistons. This is the game that I know August Young has his 8-unit game of the year in is this New York Detroit. I'm not going to tip my hand on which side he likes, but I will only speak for myself, but I just wanted to plug that. August isn't the guy that fires off big plays a lot, so he's definitely one of those handicappers that when I see his name in the BPA, I'm like, oh, interesting. Okay. All right, I like the Pistons in this game. I just feel like that 21-0 run that the Knicks went on was really bizarre for a lot of reasons. But if you just eliminate that 4 minutes out of this series, Detroit's been the better team, right? Like they were up 7 points in the fourth quarter in game 1 of that series. And I really never doubted, I know game 2 was close. I really never doubted that Detroit was going to win that game. Just watching the game, I felt like they were the better team. So I feel like we're getting a better team at home plus points. It's just too much value to ignore there. I think the Knicks are a little bit overrated. What they did last year going on that run in the playoffs, that was fun. That was last year. We see this all the time. Teams go on deep runs, make a surprise run to the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, come back and get bounced in the first round next year. On the other side, you have Detroit. They have not had a home playoff game of consequence in I mean, I know Lenny's behind the scenes here, producing for us. I know he knows the answer to this. He's going nuts right now, but they have not had a big game like this in ages for Detroit. They're going to go bonkers tonight. Like, the energy in that building is going to be nuts. So I'm always a big fan of, Team X hasn't been to the playoffs in 12 years, gets a home playoff game. And this isn't any sport, baseball, football, whatever. They get a game like this, they're going to go a little nuts. So I like Detroit. I don't think they should be the underdogs in this game. I thought they should have been like a 1.5 point favorite. I think the Knicks are favored in this game purely because they're the Knicks and name recognition.
Right.
And I like the Pistons.
They have not won in this building in a playoff game because this, the Little Caesars Arena, which I still think it's funny. I don't care. I know the owner owns Little Caesars, so he named it. But, dude, you can't name it after the cheapest, worst pizza in the world. There's a reason why you haven't been a playoff game. But they've never. So I think they're going to come out. But I think you're right. I think the Pistons are the more complete team. Now, if you said, hey, you got to go star for star, I don't know, Cunningham and Brunson maybe cut each other out. After that, I would say the Knicks have more talent. But it has not worked this year. The trade where they kind of broke that team up a little bit and got, now granted, they got another Villanova guy, traded a Villanova guy away, got a Villanova guy back, but it's still just something's not right. Like, they just don't quite fit as well as they did last year. Last year, they could lock down on defense. This is not a great defensive team this year. Look at the numbers. They play faster. They don't play as good a defense. Pistons play good defense, and they know who their star is. And Cunningham was unstoppable in game 2. He didn't even play good in game 1, and they almost won.
That's the thing. I think he's better than Jalen Brunson in this series. Jalen Brunson, not knocking him. He just won the clutch player of the year. He's a great player. But just from a talent perspective, like, if you put those two guys side by side, or if those two guys were playing one-on-one, Cade Cunningham is just a little bigger, a little stronger, a little bit more physical. And and he's younger, so he's just getting there. But the key for this is Karl Anthony Towns. He was bad. He wasn't just a no-show in game 2. He was outright bad in the second half of that game. He had his issues in Minnesota. This is part of the reason why they didn't want to sign him long-term, why they were okay with trading him away. They had to bench him in the playoffs last year. I remember there was some drama there. So, who is this guy? Who is this guy in the postseason? He can put up numbers during the regular season, but is he top-tier, big money, clutch playoff performer? We haven't seen that yet. And if they don't have him as their second guy, and we're just talking Cunningham and Brunson, I'll take the home team, and I'll take Cunningham right now as an underdog with, going against the public kind of here. So, good spot for Detroit, I think. Probably
comes down to who makes more threes in this series. Because they both shoot tons of threes, and they're not great three-point shooting teams.
That's the thing, Craig. I'm going to jump in on this. My free play as well is taking the Pistons. I mean, if you look at the stats in game 2, Detroit won that game by 6 points. They hit 45% from the field, but 22% from the arc, which that is not good by any means. If they can pick that up a little bit, and on top of that, Cunningham to tap off with Robert saying, Cunningham went off in that matchup too, dropped 33 points. I think Detroit's in a perfect spot here. I also think if they can pick up their shots from the arc, they're going to be a lot better in this matchup. They already won that game just hitting 22%. So if they can bump that number up to 30, 35% from the perimeter, I could see them absolutely dousing the Knicks in tonight's matchup. I'm on the Pistons as well, Robert.
There's a lot of people like the zigzag theory where, one team wins and they come back, and that happens a lot in NBA playoffs where, the motivation after a loss is so great. But let's remember, they were up, like you said, the entire game 1. If they win that game, what's the line in this one? They're probably a 2 or 3 point favorite.
Oh, at least 3.5. If they're up 2-0, they're a 3.5, 4 point home favorite here.
So you're getting an extra 4 or 5 points just because they played poorly for 4 minutes. They just didn't know. They were a young team. They couldn't put the finger in the dam. It was like the Vegas vacation where Chevy Chakers trying to put his, he's putting gum, and they couldn't figure out how to they didn't have enough hands to put them in the dikes.
And it's the Garden. It's the Garden. Tough place to play in the playoffs. That the Garden will get you, but they're still.
Cunningham didn't play good in 1. He did not play good in game 1. He deferred, I thought, too much late in that game. He really needed to take over. Game 2, he did not do that. He's like, dude, you're going to have to stop me. And then when they double teamed, he passed off.
I want to quickly say thank you to Mama G over there in the comments who mentioned good morning. Join premium. Thank you for that. And then just kind of laugh at Lenny. He's just pouring on in the comment section. Like, he loves this, Griffin. He loves that you and I are giving the Pistons all this love. So.
He's got a 12-team parlay with like props and sides and totals. It's all Detroit today. All Detroit. He's probably got
he's got some Detroit Tigers. Lions draft pick props there too.
Yeah, I think it was game 1, right? He said Detroit that day. Yeah, Detroit. It was probably last week. It was Detroit Red Wings, Detroit Pistons, something else. It's a 6-teamer countdown. All right. Do you like anything different here, Nick, as a free play?
Yeah, we could look at the Thunder and the Memphis Grizzlies here. That Thunder team -9.5 here. That total sitting at 227.5. And OKC, they have a 2-0 lead. They're headed to Memphis, and Memphis does play better at home than they do on the road. But this Thunder team just looks too much for this Memphis Grizzlies team. Yeah, you got Ja. Yeah, you got Bane, but that's not enough against this Thunder team. You've seen it in the first 2 games. This offense is absolutely explosive for the Thunder. I would lay the points here with the Thunder. I know this is a must-win game or keep it close for the Memphis Grizzlies. I just don't see them keeping it competitive in the 4th. I think they run away with it. The Thunder do with this defense that is awful for the Grizzlies. So I would lay the 9.5 there against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Tonight, Greg.
Were you surprised? Well, yeah, the house was falling in there. Were you surprised, Nick, on the line movement in that game? I saw it opened with Oklahoma City at -8.5, jumped up to 10. I saw at some books this morning, and consider that last night the 2 monster favorites didn't cover. There were a couple backdoors there. Like, take me through your thought process on that. Like, Oklahoma City, the numbers going up. But, we've seen a lot of favorites cover, a lot of big favorites cover. I think we all know that's probably not going to continue. So just kind of walk me through your thought process on that.
Yeah, I think we saw it yesterday in the odds makers. They got it, corrected today because of that game against the Orlando Magic, covering that back door there against the Celtics. And then we've seen it today in a Memphis Grizzlies team that is a must-win game, and you think they are going to come out competitive in this one. That's why you're seeing the line movement and shifting. But I just think this Thunder team is just way too dominant. You've seen it in game 1, 50 points. You've seen it in game 2, 18 or 17 points that they won by. I think this Thunder team is just way too much for these Grizzlies, and Grizzlies don't play defense. That's really what it is. And until they start playing defense and could cover games, I'm still laying the points there with the Thunder. They've proven it game in and game out the whole year and this postseason. Yeah, Griff.
I'm going to tap in on that sensation as well with what Robert was asking. I had Memphis game 2. I think I was the only person in the entire firm to take Memphis game 2. I grabbed those points, and I actually watched that entire matchup. And the reason that this line is shifting is because that entire game, Memphis, they got cold, then they showed progression. They got cold, they showed progression. And that progression only came out when Ja Morant started scoring points. Ja Morant came out in that game. I don't think he had a bucket in the first 7 minutes of that matchup. Then out of nowhere, he had 12 points ending the first. So I think that Ja Morant is most definitely needed. He is the X factor in this game for this Memphis team to cover in this matchup. But considering how the last match performance played out, I think we're seeing a line shift just because it was continuous bait. It was live betting bait. The number kept changing, plus 17.5, plus 18.5, plus 19.5. You kept getting better and better odds as you live bet it. And then obviously OKC would just break loose again and break loose again. Memphis showed competitiveness in that game too, though. They did. They continued to come back. At one point, they were covering that game. I want to say in the 3rd they were covering, maybe going into the 4th. So that's kind of where my sequence seeks into this game. But I would not be surprised by any means to go against Nick in this matchup, and I would actually take the points because everybody and their grandmothers are going to be on OKC in tonight's matchup.
Well, they're the best against the spread team in
the NBA
ever. As far as good teams, like usually the better the team, the worse they are kind of against the spread because they got to lay big numbers. They were laying consistently double digits and covering them. They also set a record, the biggest winning margin of any NBA team ever. So I think that's a lot into this number here. I think if you like this game, it's kind of like a correlated parlay type game. If you think it goes over, you like Memphis because it means they stay in the game and they keep pushing late. If you like the under, this Oklahoma City defense probably owns them again because Oklahoma City defense, as much as everybody talks about their offense, it's their efficiency on defense. It's number 1.
Yeah.
And when we talk about efficiency, that means it figures in their pace of play and everything. So if a team shoots 20 more shots a game, obviously they're going to allow more points because there's more possessions in the game. But their defensive efficiency is number one, and I think we'll see that tonight. It's just a matter of Grizzlies can, I think, cover. I don't think they can win the game, though. I just don't see. I don't know how anybody beats the Thunder.
Win. I
just don't know. They'll have to play bad. The Thunder will have to play bad to lose a series or even lose games because their average play is just better than other teams' even good play. They're so deep. They're so efficient. And a lot of people don't know because this Oklahoma City Thunder that are on TV a lot. And people don't follow them. They don't talk about them a lot. But, yeah, I like a little player prop in this game. I like Jarrett Jackson over the 18.5 points for them to even keep it close. John Morant's going to get his. Bane's going to get his. Jackson has to score more. And at home, he's a little better shooter. He does shoot, for me, a little too many threes. A guy that's 7 feet and can handle the ball like this, I think he should get to the hoop and get a little easier shots. But that's just not the NBA we live in now. I like him, though, over the 18.5 points tonight. I think he had 26 last time out. Game 1, he had 4. And 24 the game before that. So I think he has a 20-plus point game and gets us the over as a player prop as my free play. Now, does anybody have opinion on the late game? My 6-unit play is on this late game, Clippers and Nuggets. Does anybody have a little free play action on this one?
I got a premium on it.
Yeah, I like the Clip show. I like the Clippers in this matchup. I think the switching, the venue switch will help them, will give them a little boost. I just don't trust Denver right now. Both the games were close. Both the games were tight in the last few minutes. But game 1, the Clippers should have won that game. Like James Harden had like a 3-minute meltdown late in the fourth quarter from like 5 minutes left to like 2 minutes left. James Harden would just, I don't know, man. He just became James Harden. Like he's a loser, and he was a loser in the exits. But I mean, any team that's like counting on and needing top tier production from Russell Westbrook at this stage of the game, like get out of here with that. Like, no, Joker is a Joker. He's awesome. But Kawhi's activated. The Clippers have just been a better team over the last month. Over the last 6 weeks, the Clippers have been really, really good. No, it's not happening for Denver and Joker, just like it's not happening for the Bucks and Giannis. These teams have this one great player who just doesn't have enough help around him. And I like the Clippers in this. Real quick before we get Nick's opinion on this, I do want to mention Michael Griffin in the comment section asking, should I bet the White Sox? The answer is always no. Do not. That's an easy one. I'm going to take this one, guys. This is a no. The answer is no. You should never bet on the White Sox, and you should never bet on the Rockies. Okay, that's an easy one. So sorry, go on, guys.
Griffin's like, he saw that in the comments. He's gonna be like, man, my White Sox.
Dude, I sneak bet him. I bet him on my own, man. All right, $100 a day.
He's like, I bet him every day. I'm still chasing.
Had him first 5 yesterday. They pushed though.
We pushed it.
Hey, that's a win. That's a win for the White Sox. Exactly. They should count that as a win in the win column.
Dude, the first 2 weeks, I was trying to sneak some White Sox bets in there. I'm like, okay, there's no way they're as bad as they were last year. We're getting almost 2-1. Then they just kept losing. I'm like, F this, man. What am I doing?
Robert, I was taking them alternative run line the first 2 weeks, man. I was trying to pop plus 300 odds on a game.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Ridiculous, man.
Hey, this Clippers game, guys, I think it's the new NBA. Well, one, you fire your coach with 5 games left of the regular season.
Right.
You fire your GM. You're like signaling to the team, which this team of Joker, you're the best player in the world, or second, let's just say right now. He's the top player in the world, probably. And you signal to the whole team and him, hey, we're kind of going to rebuild this thing. With 5 games to go before the playoffs.
Right.
Like you were at the time, they were the 3 or 4 seed. So it's like it didn't make any sense. I think we see that now, like you said, if you're depending on Russell Westbrook and they are. He did win them. With game 1 was basically Russell Westbrook kind of won the game. He kept them in that game. He hit a couple threes in the fourth quarter to keep him in of game 2. But then he has a couple bonehead plays, just always happens, and they end up taking him out, which I think if they didn't, Clippers would have won easier. But I do think this is the game. Intuit Dome. This is first playoff game there, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Because this is year 1. So, and if you haven't seen a game there, on the one side, it's called the wall. And it's literally like the fans are like straight up and down, and they go crazy when they shoot free throws. So it's a huge home court edge. I'm interested to see if that plays because the Nuggets did struggle shooting free throws the other night. So we'll see. Nick, do you think you have any prop play or anything in this Nuggets Clippers game?
No, I don't have any prop plays. I'm locked and loaded though on the ice, Craig. If you want to talk about some NHL.
We got like, let's do an extra 5 minutes and we'll talk Nick's favorite. Look at him, he's giddy over there. Got NHL playoff hockey. Toronto, Ottawa. Anything you have in this play, or you have? What's your free play? We got to get your at least opinion, even if you don't have a play in Toronto, Ottawa, because these two rivals, I think it's going to be great.
I have a premium on that game, but let's talk about this Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues here. The Jets, they're slight favorites, minus 120 here on the money line. The Jets are already up 2-0. They head to St. Louis here, ladies and gentlemen. This is do or die hockey for the St. Louis Blues. I'm all over the St. Louis Blues in this one. You don't want to go down 3-0 to the Winnipeg Jets. These scores have been these games have been a lot closer than these scores have indicated. These games have gone down to the last 2 minutes in each one of them. This St. Louis Blues team has great defense. Same with the Winnipeg Jets because of their goaltending in Haliburton. But the St. Louis Blues also have really good goaltending. I think they step up to the occasion. They don't allow as many goals here tonight for the Winnipeg Jets, and the St. Louis Blues snap this losing streak that they're on and go 2-1 in this series here tonight. I like the St. Louis Blues money line, Craig, over the Winnipeg Jets.
I kind of like the under in that game. Anytime I see 5, that tells me I got to play the under. It's kind of like when you get 6 or 6.5 against great pitchers in baseball, and it's like people are like, they're just begging to try to get them over action. 5 is a big difference because you get a push. So I still like this one goes under tonight. I think it's like a 2-1. Like you said, it could go overtime. I think it's going to be extremely close. Robert, did you have a free play in this Toronto game?
I do have a free play in the Toronto game. My 7-unit play is in the game that he was just talking about. So nice. I'm neither going to confirm nor deny anything about that. But all right, Toronto, Ottawa. Let me preface this by saying that, and I've only taken the Leafs a few times this year, and I always write the same sentence at the beginning of my write-ups. It's like, I hate the Toronto Maple Leafs. I hate them. I hate them with a passion. It's like Duke basketball, Yankees baseball, and Toronto Maple Leafs are like 3 of the most overvalued teams in all of sports betting. Like, I hate Toronto so much. However, I'm taking Toronto here. I know that Ottawa is great at home, but I think I hit a big play on Toronto in game 1. I really liked them to win this series. I'm actually buying Toronto stock in the Eastern Conference playoff. I just feel like this team is different. Their style of play is much different, which a lot was made of early in the season. And then people kind of forgot about it, right? Like, not just wasn't as much Toronto Maple Leafs talk, I feel like, this year as there has been in year past. I just feel like they're a little mentally tougher. I think they're physically tougher. I think they're more capable of going on the road in a situation like this, up 2-0 in a series and getting that third win, as opposed to Maple Leafs teams that we've seen for like the last 10 or 15 years, where number one, they're not up 2-0 in this series. They probably lost game 1 at home, right? And even if they were up 2-0, they probably lose the next 3 games and throw up all over themselves. There's something different about this group. It was weird. Ottawa had won 5 straight. Like, before the series, Toronto had not beaten Ottawa since 2023, which was just kind of a weird thing. Like I said, I know Ottawa was very good at home, 27-11-3 at home this year. That was the regular season. This is a playoffs. Toronto kind of showed them in the first 2 games that they are the significantly better team, more talented team. So the fact that Toronto is the underdog in this matchup, I think that's just all about Ottawa's regular season numbers, and it's not a real the number on this game is not a reflection of the talent on the ice. So I think we're getting a lot of value here with Toronto. I like them to win, and I'm gonna be taking them a lot in the playoffs. I think they're gonna make the Eastern Conference Finals.
They're 25-13 on the road this year.
You took everything I was about to say, man.
Yeah, I love it, Griffin. We're here, buddy. We're here.
Man, I mean, all the money, yes. I got nothing to touch up on here. All the money's pouring on Ottawa. It's obvious because they play good at home. This is not regular season anymore. This is postseason. Toronto tore up the Atlantic the entire season. Going into playoffs, they were 9-1 already, scorching in their last 10 games. They already lead the series 2-0. When we go to goal differential, they're up 9-4 in these 2 games. They've been dominant all season long in the Atlantic. They should come in and absolutely dominate. We're getting plus 115 value on top of that. I think they stretch this 3-0. Robert, I couldn't agree more. Everything you said, I was, yep. I don't know. Go back and rewatch this.
I like that.
like this.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm
With
with
the
you.
little Griffin bobblehead going over there. Yep.
Like,
Give me the Leafs.
the other good game I think tonight is it's do or die. Tampa Bay was absolutely embarrassed in game one. I think everybody in the world on as far as Doc Sports was on Tampa Bay Lightning in game one. They did not show up. It was not close. I think it was 5 cappers to 1. I get all the plays, and it was 5-1, I believe, on Tampa Bay in game one. I thought that was the kiss of death, Robert. Like that was
I am not going to lie. I am not going to lie. I took Florida because I saw that everybody was on Tampa Bay. I've worked here too long. I've seen it too long to know that when everybody is on one side. And what was surprising me was just Griffin. I don't think you were wrong. And I think we might see that play out today. The thing that jumped me about it was I felt like there was too much certainty for game one of a series. Yep. Game ones of any playoff series usually aren't 100% indicative of how those series are going to go, right? So just because we hadn't seen these two teams play out yet, that's why I was a little wary. And when I saw 4 or 5 handicappers all just loading up on one side,
plays too.
Just kind of snuck a little 1 or 2 unit play over on Florida just because. I also want to give a shout out to August Young. August Young making an appearance in the comment section here, ladies and gentlemen. August, you'll be happy to know that we were talking up your 8-unit NBA game of the year during our NBA section. So good luck on that tonight. So sorry, Craig, go ahead.
But don't you think, like Nick, here's my theory on this. Everybody loved him in game one. They played terrible. Everybody jumps off the ship. Every public is like, oh, Florida's for real. The championship, blah, blah, blah. They're back. Tampa Bay tonight. Tampa Bay minus tonight. This is their season. If they lose tonight, it's over. It's over. I think they get swept.
I will not disagree with that at all, Craig. It's my premium selection there, but let's talk about that over-under here. The Panthers, obviously, they won that first game 6-2, but in the last 6 meetings between the Panthers and the Lightning, each game has went over. These two teams score when they face each other. I know you got Bob Roski in net for the Panthers. I like this Lightning, like Craig said, it's a do-or-die spot here for the Lightning. You know they're going to come out with a lot of energy and want to score the puck here against Bob Roski. So give me that over 5.5 total goals in this game tonight, Craig. I love the over.
Parlay is what I heard. Parlay, Tampa Bay, and the over. Because if Tampa Bay wins, I do think it's high scoring. I think they have to score. Have to score to win. And I want it to be a good series because I think if they win tonight, I think it could go 7. If they lose tonight, I think it's going to be a sweep probably. So let's hope for that. I always say I want as many 6 and 7 games as possible in the playoffs.
Hey, any of you guys NFL draft betting tonight? Do you guys have any thoughts on that? Do you guys have anything like?
I got one premium, but I got a premium I sent out. It's a 7 unit though, but I'm more than willing to talk about the draft, Robert, if you want to get into it.
The quarterbacks. The quarterbacks. Are you on the quarterbacks?
I'm on the quarterback.
Oh, I wonder what quarterback.
Yeah, I'm not on who you think I'm on.
Are you on Jackson Dart? Because I released a play. I released about 20 plays. I have a 20 play card. Now, I know that sounds a lot, but a lot of them are like correlated bets in a lot of things, including a 7-unit play and a 5-unit play. They were available yesterday, not available today. So your tough loss. So I can talk about it now. But I do not like Jackson Dart. I took him over his draft position over 24.5. I don't think he's getting drafted in the first round. I think all this talk about him going before Shedeur Sanders is kind of a smoke screen. I bet against Jackson Dart tonight. I've been wrong before. I was wrong with the way the quarterbacks shook out in last year's draft with Penix going as early as he is. And that's the thing, right? With the NFL draft, it only takes one coach. It only takes one coach to fall in love with a guy, and it shoots everything. But bet against Jackson Dart. And my advice to people is at this stage of the game, you should not be reading about the NFL draft. Anything you read right now is pure smokescreen. It is just stuff from agents, general managers, teams trying to throw people off the set. So even these late line movements that you're seeing, like Ashton Genty is now favored to go to the Jaguars, right? Maybe he will. But I think a lot of that might be smokescreen from some people. Even the Jaguars maybe trying to trade down, so trying to put that out there. So you should have made up your mind on who you liked in the draft. If you were going to bet it, you should have known on Monday or last weekend and stick with that. There's just too much information being thrown around right now. Don't get swept up in that stuff if you're going to be betting on the draft late.
Well, I will say I saw a lot of line movement. Raphael talked about, I think 2 weeks ago, where it was over 3.5 was the quarterback lines taken in the first half, or in the first. Now it's over 2.5. That really came down quickly in about a week or two's time. So that will be a lot of people's follow. People follow the quarterbacks. Let's be honest; they're going to follow Gentry because was obviously a Heisman, and then Travis Hunter, or the actual Heisman and the runner-up.
Hell of a tight end.
It's the other guys that I'm so excited to watch this draft, because outside of one,
Bears better
who knows?
Move, man.
The Bears are going to do something stupid. You guys are Bears fan on the Bears.
I know, bro.
If they draft Tyler Warren, I'm going to pull my goddamn fist through the screen. If they draft a tight end at number 10, I'm going to lose it.
Dude, what are your thoughts on Genty? Robert, we got you in here. We got a Bear Down fan. What's your thoughts on Genty? Is it dumb?
I think if he falls to 10, I guess I'm okay with it, but it's not my preference. The Bears have 3 picks in the top, whatever it is, 40 something. They need to go offensive line, defensive line, and then they probably have to go safety. I would like to see them go offensive line, offensive line, but they're 2 safeties. Brisker is on the last year of his contract, and with the concussions, he's just not reliable. Byard is 32 and then the last year of his contract. So I would love it if Xavier Watts, the safety from Notre Dame, slips to them in round 2. But you can only take that safety if you go offensive line, defensive line, because for all the talk about their offensive line and all the maneuvers they made this offseason, which they did, Joe Thuney is only on a 1-year deal, and it is going to be very expensive to extend him. And Braxton Jones is on the last year of his deal. So they are 1 year away from being exactly in the same spot that they are now, losing 2 of their 5 offensive linemen. So in the top 10, my theory on the first round of the NFL draft, and I've been saying this forever, it's kind of the Andy Reid theory. You just take the biggest, baddest dude, period. Just take the largest mammal that's there and put them on your team, and then get skill guys later. Because as we've seen in the NFL, if you're strong in the trenches, you're going to be pretty good. If you're weak in the trenches, it doesn't matter who your quarterback is or your wide receiver, all that. So Bears, just continue to build that offensive line. They're going to take the goddamn tight end. Somebody shoot me.
Dude, they're going with Warren, and I don't want them to whatsoever. I'm on the same
page. Robert at Hallis Hall.
How many times are we going to yell about the damn offensive line? How many years are we going to do it? Go get a damn offensive line. I've had enough of it. Robert,
I think if they could, I think there's going to be lots of trades, though. I really do think there's going to be more trades this year than ever, because if you really like a guy, you're going to trade up. And if you don't, trade down and get more picks. Like that is, you never, the Patriots way had worked for a long time.
Well, it just takes one, right? It just takes one thing to go off script in the top 10, and it throws everything haywire. Like when I was doing my draft bets, I tried to think of that. I was like, okay, what would be the one kind of ridiculous thing, like Penix going 8 last year, right? And what I landed on, I was like, what if the New York Giants took Genty at 3? Okay, it's not so crazy. They just lost Saquon Barkley.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Genty. He is, consensus top 2 or 3 offensive player in the draft. They don't really have a great running back room. It wouldn't be bizarre. He's projected to go number 5 or number 6, so that wouldn't be a big thing. Well, Genty goes 3. Now what happens? The teams that wanted him might be more willing to trade back. Abdul Carter might still be on the board. Like, that would just throw chaos into the mix. And that's all it takes. And that's why I like the draft, because you get to see the NFL people's stupidity, right up front. You talk about, I don't know about this team. No, everybody wears their stupid, right on their face in the NFL draft. And then 1 or 2 teams are going to make some ridiculous move, and it's going to throw everything else into chaos. But that's why it's fun.
Dumb shit, Robert.
Yeah.
Milrose is the guy, because Daniels did so well last year. So running quarterbacks are kind of, have done well. We look and see what Jalen Hurts did. He's kind of a Jalen Hurts type guy. Like, I could see an NFL GM or owner saying, dude, he's got so much upside. I mean, his talent, especially running the ball, is out of this world. Towards the end of that first round, I think somebody might take a flyer on him. And that's why I kind of like the over 2.5 quarterbacks, because I think there could be 4. I think there could be 3 for sure, but 4.
Disagree.
Robert going.
Disagree. They're with all the talk about Shedeur Sanders potentially falling out of the first round, which I do think that there is a little bit to that. There could only be one. This is just an awful quarterback draft. I think
Don't
Jalen
you think
Milroe
that's
is a wide receiver. I think Jackson Dart is like a worse Brock Purdy on his best day. Like, and whoever drafts Tyler Shaw, think about this. Whoever drafts Tyler Shaw, like, I'm going to laugh my ass off. That's going to be one of the worst draft picks ever. That guy is going to be 27 years old this year, which when he takes his first NFL snap means he is only going to be 4 years younger than Jameis Winston, who is somehow only 31 years old. I swear to God, that's true. I couldn't believe it. I thought Jameis Winston was 48 years old. He's 31 years old. Tyler Shaw is going to be 27. Who the hell is drafting a 27-year-old quarterback that played at Purdue?
That good, man. Louisville. He wasn't even that good.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like
that Clemson game, I think, gets him drafted higher than he should because they beat Clemson at Clemson. That was a pretty good win for them. But the Giants got to take a quarterback. The Giants, even if they don't take one at 3, I got to think if Sanders falls, that they trade back in late in the first round. If that happens.
What about the Jets? You know, a team nobody's talking about with all these quarterbacks. Like they're talking about New Orleans, they're talking about this. What about the Jets? Like the Jets still need a quarterback. Justin Fields is not the long-term answer there. Like, riddle me this. Like, it would be shocking, but it would also make sense. What if the Jets took Shedeur Sanders at 7? I don't think that would be a terrible get right there. And
I heard the Raiders too. The Raiders aren't out of the quarterback market just because they went and got him.
This is what I'm saying. Like there are other teams that need quarterbacks. That's why I like Shedeur. I like some of the Shedeur Sanders props right now. Like I said, all the momentum is showing him sliding, going out of the first round, going out of the top 21 or whatever. I don't think so. Like I'm not going to overreact to the recent headlines and smokescreen and talk and line movements. Like over the last 3 months, we've been talking about him as a potential top 5 pick. I just don't think he's going to drop out of the first round. There's too many teams that need quarterbacks, and this is such an awful quarterback draft that just puts more of a premium on that guy.
They do like the Saints. The Saints are probably like the ones out there pushing this, like so that hopefully they'll trade because if he slides to them, I just can't see them passing on him. Like I just like. Especially if you go past him the first time and it's 15, you trade back in. Because if you can get a guy that you think should go in the top 5 to 10 and is 15, 20, all of a sudden you trade back in. It's like now you're getting a really good, you already got your first round guy high, and now you trade back in and get another. The Browns I still don't understand what the Browns are doing.
Well, the thing of it is too, like a lot of people are like, well, the Browns and Giants don't have to take Shedeur Sanders because maybe they can get him at the top of the second round. You can't draft quarterback in the second round. Okay. There's a reason why if you look at the numbers over the last, I forget what year it is, 10 years maybe, there's been 35 quarterbacks drafted in the first round, 16 drafted in the third round. There have only been 6 quarterbacks drafted in the second round, right? Like it's a pretty clear line. You're either a starter or you're a developmental guy. And the big reason why, because I have these people talking about like, oh, we'll just get him in the second. The 5th-year option. You need the 5th-year option. If you're going to draft a quarterback, you can't just have him for 4 years, especially because that first year is kind of a waste, right? Like you need that 5th-year option so that you still have that quarterback on a cost-controlled, team-friendly deal, right? And then that 6th year, you can even go to the franchise tag. So when you get a quarterback in the first round, you've just opened up like a 5 or 6 year window with this guy. That's why teams will trade back up into the first round to get Shedeur Sanders instead of just the Browns waiting for him and being like, oh yeah, we're going to get him in the second round at pick number 2.
Well, the finances drive this because you can win with rookie quarterbacks now because it allows you to pay all your other players. Look what San Francisco did. As soon as they're paying Zach Purdy, they're breaking up the whole team just to pay Zach Purdy and keep him. So in the NFL, rookie controlled. Look at Joe Burrow when he was good early. They were good because they could pay everybody else. All of a sudden, you start paying Burrow and Chase and all the quarterbacks and receivers. You're done. Your defense is going to be terrible. The only team that's been able to overcome it recently and be good for a long time is the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's just because
Mahomes is a beauty.
So good.
And to your point, the New York Giants are a masterclass in what happens when you botch it because they didn't pick up Daniel Jones's 5th-year option. He went out and played well in the 4th year of his deal.
Had to pay him.
So instead of and they make the playoffs, instead of having him on that cost-controlled 5th, it should just be automatic. Unless a guy is a total flame out, and this
you either got to cut him or
just
5th year.
Right. Just pick up his 5th-year option, man. It's not that much money. They didn't do it. They signed him to a market deal, and that's why they're picking 3.
And they had to franchise. They had to franchise Saquon, and then the next year Saquon could walk.
Right.
So it was this is what happens with bad franchises. So we got to wrap it up here. We're a little over. So we love talking sports and sports betting, and NFL talk always drives the day. So we're going to have a lot more talk tomorrow. Robert's going to be on tomorrow. We could even have some draft props tomorrow because, I always think there's a little value come the second day once you see what happens in day one of the NFL draft. So thanks again for everybody watching us. Like and subscribe. Don't forget, if you haven't done so, make sure you get in on docsports.com/free60. 8-unit game of the year tonight for August Young in the NBA.
Let's go.
Several other 7-unit plays in NHL. I think there's a player prop out there for somebody as well in the draft, I think, right?
Scott Spreitzer has an 8-unit NBA game of the year prop.
So go check it out under the BPAs, which the BPAs is big player alerts. When you log into your account, you'll see all the different plays for the different sports and the different cappers. So make sure you check it out. Then right below, you can purchase $30 per day per sport, or it's $25 for the prop, though, right?
Yep.
25. So Spreitzer, get in $25 under the prop section. All right, guys, have a great day. Don't forget, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Hope all your bets are winning ones. Good luck.